Hello everyone. In this video, I want to show you how to solve this equation which was asked in the University of Cambridge entrance exam. It's a very interesting question and let's see how do we solve it today. So the first thing that you have to do is use the law of exponents over here. Our final goal is to find the value of x. So let's try to first use the law of exponents over here and we can write it as we know that x to the power m plus n is nothing but x to the power m times x to the power n. So we can use that law of exponent and simplify this as 3 to the power x minus square root of 3 to the power x and square root of 3 to the power 4 plus 20 is equal to 0. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Now, what you can do is 3 to the power x minus, now that square root of 3 to the power 4, whenever you have power 4, remember that square root of 3 to the power 4 is nothing but square root of 3 times square root of 3 times square root of 3 times square root of 3. So you basically multiply square root of 3 4 times. Square root of 3 times square root of 3 is nothing but 3, and this square root of 3 times square root of 3 is also 3. So this is essentially 9. Okay. So now we can say that this part over here is nothing but 9 the way we saw it. Now once we substitute that value 9 over here, our equation will become 3 to the power x minus 9 square root of 3 to the power of x plus 20 is equal to 0. If you notice carefully, the square root of 3 to the power x, there is a connection between this 3 to the power x and square root of 3 to the power x. What's that connection? Is that this 3 to the power x is nothing but square of this number over here. Why is that important? Because if you end up putting this thing over here as u, there is a connection between these two. So you can write this as u square. Why you can do that? Let's see over here. So we know that square root of 3 to the power x, this term over here. Let's try to square it. If you square that, this can be written as, we can just multiply these two. So we have square root of 3 to the power 2x. Okay. And that square root of 3 square is nothing but 3 to the power x over here. So that means that the square of this term is nothing but this. So if you end up putting u over here, this is nothing but u square. And why is that important? Because this ends up becoming a quadratic equation at that point. So let's say square root of 3 to the power of x is equal to u. So if you put square root of 3 to the power x is equal to u, what you can see here is that if you square on both the sides, square root of 3 to the power, this will become 2x and this will become u square. Okay. And that square root of 3 square, this can again with the law of exponents can be written square root of 3 square to the power x is equal to u square. Okay. Because we know that x to the power m to the power n is equal to x to the power mn. So that x to the power mn can be just written as you can just split that exponents in these two ways like this. So what you have over here, square root of 3 square is nothing but 3 to the power x is equal to u square. So the moment you put square root of 3 to the power x as u, 3 to the power x becomes u square. And this ends up becoming a quadratic equation. So if that becomes a quadratic equation, you get u square minus 9u plus 20 is equal to 0. Now you just have to solve this quadratic equation and find the value of u, which will then give you the value of x that we need. Now, in order to solve this quadratic equation, we can use the factorization method. In other words, we can split that 20 into prime factors. So that 20 can be first written as 5 times 4, and that again 4 can be written as 2 times 2. So the prime factors of that 20 are 5 times 2 times 2. And now we need to find a number whose sum will give you 9 or minus 9 and whose product will give you 20. So if you notice carefully, I can have 5 and 4. So this 5 and 2 times 2, 4. If you do -5 and -4, that will give you -9, and the product of -5 and -4 is going to give you +20. So -5 and -4 are the factors that you are looking for. So you can write that -9u as -5u minus 4u plus 20 is equal to 0. Now let's take the factor over here. Let's factor out u. So you have u minus 5 left over. Let's factor out -4 over here. If you factor out -4, over here you will be left out again with u minus 5 is equal to 0. So essentially, again, you can factor out u minus 5 over here. So you have u minus 5, u minus 4 is equal to 0. Now the product of two terms is equal to 0. That means either the first term is 0, u minus 5 is equal to 0, or u minus 4 is equal to 0. So that means you get u is equal to 5 or u is equal to 4. Okay, I hope that makes sense. But remember that u was nothing but square root of 3 to the power of x. So now we have square root of 3 to the power of x is equal to 5, or square root of 3 to the power x is equal to 4. Okay. Now, in order to find the value of x, we have to take log or ln on both the sides. Why would we have to do that? Because x is in the power. Whenever there is a variable in the power and you want to bring that variable down in order to find the value of that variable, log or ln is such a thing that you can take help of. So we can take ln on both the sides in order to find the value of x. So we have ln square root of 3 to the power x is equal to ln 5, or ln square root of 3 to the power x is equal to ln 4. Okay. Using the properties of the log, that x can be brought down over here, even over here, you can bring down that x using the properties of the log. So we have x ln root 3 is equal to ln 5, or x ln root 3 is equal to ln 4. Now, pretty easily, you can get, therefore, the value of x is ln 5 divided by ln root 3, or you have x is equal to ln 4 divided by ln root 3. I hope that makes sense. And these are the two values of the x that you would write in your test. I hope that makes sense. If you understand the concepts that I'm teaching, can I request you to like this video and subscribe to this channel? I do post math and calculus concepts every single day. That's another reason to subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow.